In this video, we're going to load 44 Magnum ammunition on the Reading T-7 turret reloading press. We're also going to take a look at what it takes to change over calibers. Right now our press is set up to load 357 Magnum, and we're going to change over the slide bar priming components and shell holder so that we can load 44 Magnum. First thing that we're going to do is going to be to index the turret head into the proper position to start loading our 44 Magnum ammunition. Then we're going to swap out our shell holder, which we were using for 357 Magnum, with the appropriate shell holder for loading 44 Magnum. We're still set up with the slide bar priming system set up for 357 Magnum. So we've got a tube full of small primers, and we've got the slide bar for the small priming system that we need to swap out. So there's a couple things we need to do here in order to get the priming system ready for loading large pistol primers. We're going to take the slide bar priming system off the press so that we can do two things. The first is going to be to empty the primers from the tube that's currently in the slide bar priming system. The second is going to be to swap over the slide bar for the large pistol priming. You can either swap cups or you can swap entire slide bar systems. The swapping of the slide bar system is the quickest approach. So now we've got the slide bar system removed from the press. The next step is going to be to remove the shielding tube, which exposes the primer tube. This primer tube on this particular system is both a pickup tube and a reservoir for the primers for the loading system. So now that we have removed the shielding tube, we can actually just invert this tube. We then get our pin, the hitch pin, and we then install the hitch pin, and we can keep this tube loaded with primers, or we can empty these primers at this point. What I'm going to do next is going to be to assemble the slide bar priming block with a dedicated slide bar that I have set up for large pistol and large rifle primers. So the way that this goes together is we just put the slide bar in the block as so, and then we're going to take our the screws which secure the slide bar to the press, and we're going to start those. And then we're going to push the slide bar forward and then snug the screws so that we know things are aligned properly. And then we're going to just gently tighten these screws to keep everything aligned while we're loading. So the next step is going to be to load our large pistol primers into the large pistol, large rifle primer tube. And I've used a flip tray to properly orient these primers. We're just going to take the pickup tube and then proceed to load the primers smooth side up into the tube. These tubes hold 100 primers per tube. There we go, done. So we've placed our primer tube into the receiver in the slide bar priming system loading block. And there's just one thing that we've got to do now, and that's going to be to tap the primers in the collet portion of the pickup tube down so that they're ready to load. Following that, we can place our shielding tube over the priming tube, and then it's just a matter of tightening that tube until it bottoms out. Our priming system is now ready. So I've borrowed the powder measure off of my Hornady Lock and Load AP Progressive reloading press. So this is a case-activated powder measure that we can actually use on the Redding T-7 turret press. We will note here that we're not going to get quite the same accuracy as we would if we were using a bench mounted powder measure, because this powder measure is going to be kind of moving around, but I tested it and it was accurate repeatable rather, within 1/10 of a grain. So for the type of ammunition I'm loading today, that's going to be plenty sufficient. So we've already tested the powder load. Let's load the powder measure. We're going to use Winchester W231 today to work up essentially a 44 special load in 44 Magnum brass. Kind of a nice target load. So we're going to put our cap on, and at this point we're basically ready to load. Well, it's about time to start loading. What we've got here is a bin of round nose 44 caliber bullets. I've also got a large container of pre-lubricated brass, and then I've got my completed round bin. Alright, well, let's get down to business. This is what this process is going to look like. We're going to take a piece of brass, insert it into the shell holder, pull our slide bar to dispense a primer. We're going to raise the ram to size and deprime. On the way down, we're going to push the slide bar in. We're going to prime the case, and we're going to index our head to the expanding station. We're going to expand the brass. We're going to index again. We're going to powder charge, index one more time, grab a bullet, place the bullet, seat and crimp, and then it's back to the first station. So there we go. We've got a piece of 44 Magnum brass with the primer. We've sized, deprimed, primed, expanded, powder charged, and then seat and crimped, all in one operation on the press. Now let's see what that looks like under sort of a continuous operation mode. We're going to keep our hand on the lever here because we're going to continue to index until we get to the bullet seating and crimping. We're then going to take our hand off, grab and place the bullet, and then when we lower the ram, we're going to take our station back to the first position where we can start the process yet again. After doing this for a while, you'll get into a steady rhythm, but typically it's going to take a few iterations to get to that point. Well, there we have it. We're done with our loading of the box of 44 Magnum ammunition. We've seen how we can use a case-activated powder measure on the Redding T-7 turret reloading press. We've also seen how we can reload 44 Magnum ammunition and how to change over the components in the slide bar priming system. I hope that you've found this video to be informative, and I hope that you'll also stay tuned to see what other scenarios we get into with this particular press and other Redding reloading equipment. Thank you very much.